You know why people don't like liberals? Because they lose. If liberals are so fucking smart, how come they lose so goddamn always?
Hey.
We didn't scare so easy. First step in solving any problem is recognizing there is one.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
Enough?
Got Mini Mike, but I think he's out of it. I would like to spend $700 million and end up with nothing. Mini Mike. I know him well. I knew that was going to happen. That was probably the worst debate performance in the history of presidential debates. Do we agree? Has there ever been anything like that?
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
But he's going to keep spending the money. I think this weekend he's going to, I hear his ad stop on Tuesday. He's going for Tuesday. He's going to spend a lot of money. It just shows you that you can't buy an election. I mean, there's a point at which people say, you got to bring the goods a little bit too. You got to bring the goods. Boy, did Pocahontas destroy him, I'll tell you. And look what I did to her. She choked. You know, she went out and got a test because I was killing her with a Pocahontas. Remember I said, I have more Indian blood in me than she does, and I have none. Right? I said it to her. Love to have some, but I have none. And she was getting hit with that name, Pocahontas. That was one of the good ones. And they said, we want you to apologize for that name. And I did. I apologized. Nobody ever heard me apologize before. I apologized. To the real Pocahontas, I apologized. But she went out and she said, oh, this guy's killing me. Remember, she was dropping like a rock. But I learned something. Never do it too early. A year and a half before the election, I said, what am I doing? I should have saved it. But that's all right. Because she had those burning embers, and then she started, but ultimately she failed. She's gone, so. But she was really mean to Mini Mike, I'll tell you, the way she treated her. He didn't know what hit him. He's going, oh, get me off of this stage. Get me off. Get me off of this stage. Well, thank you very much. We hit a nerve there, huh?
Having stability in your work life, knowing how much money you are going to have, not randomly missing bills because someone cuts your hours, having a place to send your kids for daycare so that you can take a job and not have to miss your job and get fired and then get evicted, would create a stability in people's lives that would seem to me to push back against the problems that a lot of people have. But let's try it. We tried it the econ major way for the last 40 years. Let's try it another way.
Please, go ahead.
My name is Awab. I'm MPP student first year. I'm really glad, I do believe we are glad to have such a conversation here at HKS. But given how an institution like Harvard is involved in the business that you described, do you think by inviting you to speak here, Harvard is also doing some sort of the reputation laundry that you described?
That could well be. That could well be, you know, and I could be the detergent. um, and I want to be very clear, and you know, and that's why for me it feels important to talk about someone like David Rubenstein with the lack of politeness that he deserves, to make sure that I'm not participating in that if that is their goal, because that's not what I'm here for. I think Harvard has so much to answer for.
I think he agrees, yeah.
You know, whether it's the fossil fuel investments question with the endowment, whether it's Sacklers and others, and I understand the issue here is a little more complicated with the Sackler because of which family member it was, but it's an important topic. You know, I think from the comments I've seen from the president of this university feel like not even like advanced level PR deflection, just like very, very basic PR deflection. I have not seen the president of this university seriously, morally grapple with the very real question that Harvard has become the world's premier drive-through reputational laundromat. I'll say that again. Harvard has become the world's premier drive-through reputational laundromat. It is the best of the best, right? If your pharma company was a little bit too aggressive, you can give to Tufts, and that's plenty to clean your reputation. I'm being serious here. I mean, you forgive me, but you know, if you raped and trafficked children, giving to Tufts may not be enough. That's when you got to come to Harvard, right? That's when you need that glow to shine so bright that it has a chance to change your name. The fact that, the fact that the center here that he gave to is called PED is just amazing. And I don't see what I would expect to see, which is people at this university holding the people who run it to account, to say a place where so people are coming to learn, coming with hope, coming to support their families, coming to go back to various countries and build up those countries. The motivations of students here is an important thing. Of course, there's a lot of people trying to become wolves of Wall Street, but there's a lot of people trying to do other stuff. And it besmirches all of your names to have your learning institution being also used as a drive-through reputation laundromat. And it's not a couple of people. It's all the worst financial crisis people. It's the tech people. And they are using you to clean their name. They're using you to deflect questions about why we have a system in which people make that kind of money to begin with. And I think there's a real reckoning that needs to happen. And it begins with anybody who's part of this institution making it clear what is and is not acceptable to you. And that gets to one larger thing that I will just briefly mention, which is that someone else gave me this phrase the other day in a conversation. I forget the name of the writer, but the phrase was, are we living in an age of acquiescence? Whether it's this issue or any other, I find it very hard to explain the lack of serious protest in this era, on campuses like this, but in the country. I mean, you all saw those Hong Kong videos. How many of you saw those Hong Kong videos and felt like ashamed? We have not generated days that look like that. We had a couple great marches. They weren't necessarily even at that scale or fraction of the population. Why is the country not at a standstill one day a week? Why are campuses not shutting down? Why is nothing being occupied? I would bet a very large fraction of people in this room feel this is the most dangerous president in the history of this country. Have classes been interrupted here one day since January 2017? And multiple presidential candidates running on the other side have said, this is a white supremacist in the house that is the color of his ideology. And has anything shut down? So you get the country you're willing to fight for. And whether it's the kind of micro world of Harvard, which I hope now it's very clear I'm not here to help clean, or the macro world of the country or things beyond it, we have to start truly disrupting these power structures and truly making clear to the institutions we are part of, one way or another, what is not acceptable to us.
Thank you.